So let's look at the Creator Copyright Playbook. If you're a creator coming out to now, one, I'm going to show you next week some tools to protect your copyrights, whether you're doing text or images. But in the meantime, when AI assists your creativity, you can make a case for copyright. You create the idea, you create the initial part. There's a lot of flexibility to working with the tools because it's working with your idea and your expression. Remember that idea, expression. That's the kind of connection they want to see to show that there was a human effort and that it wasn't just a random thing. Like a Jackson Pollock painting? Nah, but a random thing. When AI generates independently, in other words, I put a couple of prompts in, spits it out, I want a copyright. No, because prompts don't give copyright. Not in China, not in the US as of this time. And it's interesting because you don't really know what's coming out. And if you can prove it, this is what you want to do. Document any of your work with generative AI. And by the way, with anything. If you're not using AI, do the same thing because there's going to be more requirements. And if you can prove it's purely human and there is no AI, maybe seems odd now, but in a few years down the road, this might become something sort of scarce. So make sure you can prove whether you did something with AI or without it and show a record of your activity, photos, manuals, journals, whatever you have, calendars, to keep proof of what you've done. Now, when you transform AI output, when you take AI output and turn it into something else, that's possible to get a copyright, assuming you're not using AI to transform AI, right? Because that's considered as a separate thing doing the creating. Even though you give it the guidance, it's still up to luck as they see it. So AI is a creative assistant. There's a number of works that show. I've talked about Zarya of the Dawn. There are other works that have come up that have definitely proven that there's a human effort into it. And there's no punishment. Even at Amazon, if you're AI assisted, that book can be on Amazon. If you're AI generated purely out of AI, purely by giving prompts, you're supposed to report it to Amazon, and then they will call that an AI generated book. But what's funny is it's very hard to tell what an AI generated text reads compared to one that was generated by a human. I mean, the tools are there, but they're not close to 100%. It's really hard with text to protect it. How do we find those human elements within the creativity, the human elements that came in to create what comes out? Can you see why I'm connecting that with the New York Times? Because they're the only ones I've seen who've actually tried to get out what went in. Or I'm sure others have tried, but I don't think they had the time, money, or ingenuity of the Times to do the prompts. Like they use the first sentences of articles. And if you've ever been in journalism, first sentences are everything to get you to read the book or read the newspaper. So they searched on that. They searched probably on whole articles. We'll find out and I'll keep you updated. But the New York Times, if it happens to be proven true, has actually cracked the code that the U.S. Copyright Office, in a way, says doesn't exist. So pure AI generation is excluded right now because we don't understand it. We think it's all machines, we think it's math, it's probability, and it is all of the above. And it's early days. We don't know where it fits in, and we've got laws that are being made by people that are just really, even the U.S. Copyright Office. In one of the things I was reading about Midjourney, it referred to a parameter that doesn't even exist anymore because this began back in like 2023. That's how fast this stuff moves. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong for trying, but basically they came to the conclusion you could have expected a few years ago. So they did give their best effort. It's a really hard job, and it doesn't leave any room for AI until we figure out how to handle putting things into AI. Then we can evaluate what comes out and whether it's original, creative, or human enough for copyright, or whether it has to be. So remember, if you're a creator and you're using AI in any way, document your use, especially AI assisted. You want to make sure you just keep a record of this because as we figure this out, this is the proof you'll need not only to get copyright, but it's becoming more and more important into a world where so much great things are taken and copied. I mean, you have to understand the impact of this, of where this can all be going. I could create a work of art, a painting. Somebody else could take that picture, They could put it into Midjourney or anything else, create a very similar or image or just a little bit off to protect themselves, but basically the same thing. So they qualify for copyright because they put the image in, seems original. We don't really have a way to compare originality. I mean, look at how many copycat products there are. It's just not possible. But then they can come to me with my painting and say, wait, this is like my copyright, and actually have me take it down as the originator. Now, I might know this, but does a court know it? And if I didn't get my copyright, does it matter because this person did? These are the really weird questions we've never had to face before, and why these copyright issues are so important to you, especially as a creator.